we gonna rock? Then we gonna fold? Then we let it pop? Don't let it go.
Well, you know what I would ask you, Daniel, is being a guy from Canada, what's it like getting recruited out there? Because I know we kind of know, I don't know if it's different in the United States than it is in Canada. I don't know how many coaches are coming for in-house visits, or are you getting as many emails? Are the camps as competitive? Would you fly to the States to go to a camp, or were you like a 5-star dude and you didn't have to, or what was your experience getting recruited?
it was kind of unique, and it was all new to me, and like my high school coaches did a really good job of putting me in the position to just be a player, and they handled the recruiting side of it, and it was like I had to make a Twitter. We don't recruit through Twitter, so my first time was making a Twitter was to talk to a coach.
What's your Twitter name?
DJohnson0603.
Sick.
Took me years to remember that because I'm not a big Twitter guy.
Yeah.
And it's not as big as it is in Canada. And like Canada, we recruit through Facebook. So it was a whole different experience. Like home visits were not a thing, and it was completely new.
Right.
Having to be flown out and wined and dined and all of this was pretty fun. It was really, like I wasn't expecting it, but it was pretty fun. But I had a lot of help. My coaches had some other guys prior, like a couple of years back, that had to go through that same process. But it was much harder for them because they had to use VSH tapes. Like they had to send out CDs for highlight tapes.
Old school.
Where like coaches will just look at my huddle and call it a day, and start recruiting me through there. But it was new, so I didn't have nothing to compare it to other than the Facebook and all that.
What was the competition like out there compared to the United States?
Everyone's much stronger and faster.
In the United States or in
the
Canada?
United States? No, in Canada.
I just need to clarify. I'm like, damn.
No.
Like,
no chance. Everyone like I feel like it means more. Like sports is huge compared to like there's high schools that are bigger than universities.
Yeah.
I see in Canada. So it's like it's a whole different game, and like where football in Canada may just be an extracurricular to some people. It's like it's not really, people aren't looking for that as an out. It's just something people just want to put on the jersey and call it a day. Whereas like growing up, I always wanted to play sports. I see my brothers play it, where it kind of meant something to me. So it was much different. It's much different. It's slower game. I feel like the game itself is different with 3 downs and a bigger field, 20-yard end zones. It's kind of easier to score. 20-yard end zones, but it's a much different game.
Yeah.
Much different game. I feel like it means a lot more over here in America.
When I was getting recruited out of high school, I went to Montana State for a camp. And the reason I say this is because this reminds me of the different fields. Montana State is in Bozeman, Montana, and there's 400 kids that went to this camp. 399 of them were from the state of Montana. I was the only one that wasn't from Montana. I wanted to go to Montana State. I was ag business. My family farmed.
Mm-hmm.
I like hunting, and they had camo jerseys. It kind of was like, let's check this out.
Cool,
right? They were my like, okay, these guys want me.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, had a great. It was a full padded camp. They don't mess around there. And like the first part of the camp was strictly drills and 7-on-7, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty standard camp so far. I was connecting well with some guy who was a quarterback. I'm a receiver. Make friends with the quarterback when you go to a camp. Yeah. It's camp 101, right? So we eat lunch. I met this kid, only friend I have at this point, and I'm like, we got invited to go to the starters field for the after lunch scrimmage. I'm like, dude, that's good. There's 400 kids here. They got 20 kids to this side. Right. We're in the 20. Well, let's go ball out, bro. Get some offers right now. This dude's sweating bullets, tripping balls, and I'm like, bro, what's wrong? He's like, I've never played 11-on-11 football before.
No way.
Because in Montana, at some of those schools out there, bro, he's like, my closest away game is an hour and a half.
Jeez, man.
Bro, what?
That's insane.
And they were, I forget if it's 6-man or 8-man. It's something different. It's something different. And he just left the camp. But
no way. He didn't even want to
dude dipped. Dude's like, I gotta go. I'm like,
oh man.
I didn't end up going to Montana State, but it reminds me of just how, it is different. So it leads to my next question. Like, how was that adjustment? Like your first playbook and understanding both the intensity of the American football culture and also what was your first like, holy shit, this is what American football is experience? Because you play in some big stadiums at some point.
So growing up in high school, I played a little bit in the UIBL. So like I'm used to coming over to the States and playing.
Right.
So like I know how gritty it is. I know like how serious it is. So when I go back, it's kind of easy. But so I think my first experience was I went to a Polynesian Bowl.
There you go.
Yeah, I went to a Polynesian Bowl. I don't know how I got invited to that. But yeah, so I
Canadian dude
right.
goes to the Polynesian Bowl. I love it.
Yeah, there was some Canadian connection down in California, but it was I got jammed right away. I'm like, oh snap! Like I was like, this is easy. Like I was like looking at my quarterback. This is a route. This is easy, and I got stuck. And I'm like, oh, these guys are strong. and then so I kind of had to adjust to that, and then I played Team Canada against Team USA, and we got dropped off. Like it was bad.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I was like, okay, this is like this is American football. Yeah. And
welcome to America.
Going to college, I went to Kent State, so I wasn't really like worried about anything. I wasn't worried about it. I just wanted to play football. So it wasn't really like once I got to college, it wasn't really a hard adjustment.
Right.
Other than the position change, learning the new position and having to adapt really quick. But playbook, we ran a tempo offense, so everything was pretty quick to learn. But other than that, my welcome to football in America was in high school rather than it was in college, which is kind of crazy.